Young surfboard in here with me. HGA. Can't go back.
What's up, Clemson Nation, guys? Clemson is back. We are back. We got Georgia Tech. We're opening up a new ACC network on Thursday. I'm not crazy about the Thursday night kickoff time. It means I don't get to go to the game when I've been to just about every season opener since I can remember. But we'll be able to watch it on the ACC network now that everybody's finally starting to pick it up. And we got Georgia Tech first. And wow, is this team going to be different. Clemson enters the season number one for the first time in school history. We're not just number one in the coaches poll. We're number one in the AP poll as well. Just lots of expectations. This team's goal is a national championship. Anything less is going to be disappointing. It's not going to be, I would not say that making the playoffs is ever a failure of a season. But Clemson's reached the point now where if you don't win a national championship, it's going to be disappointing. That's just where we are as a program. And I'm sorry about the camera quality, guys. I don't know what's going on. I got to set up a new camera for this stuff. But yeah, as I was saying, man, crazy year last year. Lots of ups. There was really no downs. Nothing but come from behind wins, holding on, and epic beatdowns of the supposed best team in college football history, which was Alabama going into the college football playoff, or at least the SEC championship. So let's jump straight into Georgia Tech in game one of the season. So the Jackets under Paul Johnson were a very inconsistent team, as everybody knows. You know, looking at their last 5 years, 35 and 28, I think they had two losing seasons and 3 winning seasons there. It's just up, down, up, down. They're on pace to not make a bowl this year based on that trend, but just based on the fact that they are completely different with Collins coming in and scrapping the good old triple option, something that Brent Venables had mastered. Man, I loved playing Georgia Tech the last few years just because you knew that it was going to be a defensive highlight reel for Clemson. Not going to be the case as far as the options concerned, but with the very little bit of talent and players coming back in general for Georgia Tech from last year's team, and especially the offensive players they do have, 90% of these guys are used to the triple option. So trying to run a spread offense, it's not going to work. Collins is going to have to try to blend a mixture, but I think it's going to be obviously option heavy because that's what his players are going to have here. I mean, what are they going to do? They have to do what they know. They can't be completely confused, and it's just not something that's going to turn around in 1 year. So the offense for Georgia Tech, although Clemson is relatively young compared to last year, should have no problems. Our secondary, by far strong enough to shut down anything that Georgia Tech's new spread offense will be trying to throw. The linebacker play will be strong this year for Clemson. Corners should be strong. Secondary should be good. And the defensive line, even with losing all that talent, all that first-round talent, all that second-round talent, all those players that are going to go down as legends for Clemson, it's still going to be very solid, led by Xavier Thomas on the end. And with Venables leading this defense and a lot of these guys, as you know, last year, with the way that Venables and Dabo ran this offense and defense, we played almost everybody every game. So all these guys have had meaningful snaps except for the freshmen. And Georgia Tech's offense, they try to run the option. Venables has got that locked down. They try to run a spread. It's just going to be a nightmare. And then Clemson has possibly the best offense in college football history. Now, that's yet to be seen. I know there's probably been many times that's been said. But, I mean, true freshmen absolutely decimated the college football playoff last year for Clemson. True freshmen. And they're all back, obviously. So you just have to wonder, man, you just got to pray for college football. what defense is gonna shut this down? It's not gonna be Georgia Tech because they return 4 players from a 7-6 team with a new scheme, a new coach. Clemson should have 50 in this game, not playing great. It has the potential to be a 77-point type of game like we saw with Louisville, but I really don't see that happening just because it's the first game of the year. You got to work those kinks out. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of kinks for Georgia Tech. Clemson is going to be absolutely hyped. Night game in the Valley, first game of the season. And there's really not too much to say. It's going to be a slaughter fest. I'd say a 99% chance of a slaughter fest here. You know, you feel for Georgia Tech. I'm really excited for what Collins can bring because I think that Georgia Tech is obviously, I know their academic standards are a little higher, but they're in hotbed of recruiting. Recruiting's already picked up in his first year. You know, what type of Georgia players aren't going to want to play in the heart of Atlanta for an exciting offense and against a bunch of teams that have the potential to be great like Miami, Virginia Tech. You have the chance to play Clemson in the ACC championship, and you play Clemson every year. You know, it's a good gig, and as much as I hate Georgia Tech, and trust me, I hate them, some of my best regular season memories and worst regular season memories come at the hands of Georgia Tech. You look at the 2004 tragic game we lost there. Then in 2006, amazing game against them. 2006. You know, it's just been back and forth. Heartbreak twice in 2009. 2 very painful losses, even though technically the championship doesn't count. But this year, it's just not going to be close. And I'll have a more in-depth preview with Texas A&M because they're going to bring a lot more than Georgia Tech and Collins this year. Like I said, I'm excited to see what he can do because he can build this back into a good rivalry again. Hopefully not beat us, but make it good. So with this game, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to shine in the first half. Chase Bryce is going to shine in the second half. And my prediction for this one is really just an absolute beatdown. You know, I say Clemson wins this game by a score of 52-20. And I'll give Georgia Tech some points late in the game. I think that they're really going to try to push the pace and run as many plays as they can. And they'll get a couple of garbage time touchdowns against Clemson's second and third string. But, you know, 52-20, we get it rolling early and keep the streak going of 21-plus wins. I think this would be number 11 in a row. So, yeah, Georgia Tech and Collins, I'm sorry, guys. You don't have anything for us this game. We'll see what happens in Week 2 against Texas A&M. And I'll have a recap of Georgia Tech as we get ready for what could be the second-best team in the SEC. They could overtake Georgia. We will see. But first, it's Georgia Tech on the ACC Network, Thursday night, prime time, 8 p.m. Let's get it. Go Tigers.